All right, another Monday morning. It's the last for the first month, year 2018. It's still the Daybreak Show on Rock City 101.9 FM, the voice of the people broadcasting from the radio house at Shiro, Abeokuta Citizens Forum. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Toby Joseph. Like I mentioned earlier, what we're looking at this morning is focusing on the proposal talking about a third force or a coalition of Nigerians to rescue or save Nigeria from total collapse. Before this special press statement by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, so many Nigerians have been tinkering with this idea of setting up a third force, or better still, a third party that will be a different mode and shape and size from the two main parties, talking about the PDP and the APC. Even before the Supreme Court judgment that actually gave the control of the opposition party PDP to the Ahmed McCarthy caretaker-led committee, members of the PDP, big wigs in that party, were also mooted this idea of a third force, of an alternative to the both parties, talking about the APC and the PDP. There's also a coalition, well, you may call it a movement, the National Intervention Movement, being championed by Olisa Gbakoba, Donald Duke, and Obi Ezekwesili and the likes. Technocrats, you may want to call them. This is definitely different from the coalition of Nigeria that seems to be gathering momentum right now. But when we look at all this, is it exactly the fact that our parties have failed? Talking about the two parties, is it true that they cannot actually solve the problems or challenges of Nigeria? Do we need a third force? Or should we just focus on having two main parties whereby they will continue to sell their ideologies, sell their programs and policies, and then the people continue to choose, just like we have it in the United States of America, just as we have it in Britain, and of course in Germany, where you always have two main parties always dictating and setting the tone for political development in a nation.
Yes, it now comes to the question, is it the political party that is the problem or the politicians? Is it the structure that should be changed or the operators that should be reorientated? How do we get to the promised land? How do we get an answer to the question of leadership? What does the new coalition mean? Who and who will form it? How will you help to solve the problem of Nigeria? Let's quickly remind us, this was in 1991 when the then President Ibrahim Babangida was trying to find answers to this, just as we heard. He decided to clear the so-called old politicians at that time, and then that gave birth to a new set of politicians that were then referred to as new breed politicians. At that time, on that occasion, did that solve the question? Would this new coalition be the answer to the problem? This and many more are what we'll be looking at this morning on the Citizens Forum.
All right, we have in the studio Ambassador Tunde Oladunjoye, former chairman of Ijebu East local government in Ogun State, and of course a former deputy governorship candidate in Ogun State in the 2011 election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Ambassador Oladunjoye, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Yeah. Now, give us, what do you understand by that phrase, by that submission, new coalition of political parties?
Okay.
What does it mean?
Let me start from, because obviously we are discussing Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's letter, and people have been asking me what is my view, and they have not had me talking about it. Some people said between President Obasanjo and ex-President Obasanjo and President Buhari. And I say that if you follow my trend, that letter is what is expected of us in a democracy. Part of the problems we are facing in this country is that when we vote, the voters just go back home after voting and continue with their various businesses without taking to task people they have voted for, without trying to make people to account, to fulfill their electoral promises and what have you. That is not what we have in other so-called advanced countries who continuously expand the democratic space. And even when they get human rights, they ask for animal rights. And when they get animal rights, they ask for environmental rights. So it is incumbent of that's one of the major problems we have by not trying to establish or expand the democratic space we have in the country. And I want to say that the response given by the federal government of Nigeria officially through the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, is diplomatic, is matured, and I commend it because one, it's not abusive. Two, it acknowledges the points raised by the president, and it recognizes the fact that the ex-president, Olusegun Obasanjo, was not talking out of mischief and what have you. To me, that is what concerns me, not what others are trying to say on the social media. Now, on the
New coalition.
new coalition, I want to say that it is not a new thing. Let me, if you permit me, give you some historical background of coalition in Nigerian politics. We've always had coalitions. And what I can say, the first coalition was the one we had between the Action Group of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and that of ZIC, the NCS, National Council of Nigerian Citizens. Before we had National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon, and when they separated, we now had National Council of Nigerian Citizens. There was an MOU signed in 1959 for December 12, 1959 election, where Chief Obafemi Awolowo wanted to work with ZIC. But after that MOU, ZIC chose to work with Tafawa Balewa. So that coalition failed, as it were. Then you now had, in 1964, we had the Action Group of Chief Awolowo with the same NCNC, signed another agreement and formed a coalition, and they turned into what we call OPGA, All Progressive Grand Alliance. That is in 1964, with which they contested the 1964 election, and it was partially successful because some seats were won. Of course, for that same 1964, we had the National Democratic Party that aligned with the Northern People's Congress, and they also had their own alliance that culminated in the Nigerian National Alliance. It was also a coalition. Of course, in 1982, we had the Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, led by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, aligning to form a coalition with the Northern Nigerian People's Party of ZIC and the Great Nigerian People's Party by Waziri Ibrahim Waziri. That was another coalition, and of course that coalition did not succeed because it failed at the federal level. The UPN won seat, they won, but at the federal level for presidency, it failed. Of course, when they came together, they formed what was called Progressive People's Alliance. And where we are now, the Action Congress of Nigeria in 2014 leading to 2015 merged with the CPC, Congress of Progressive Change, and the ANPP, All Nigerian People's Party. And don't forget, new PDP, where the likes of Saraki, Amishi came and formed a coalition. And the coalition was resoundingly successful. That is what led us here. So the issue of coalition is actually not new.
So is it the kind of coalition you think former president is calling for? Because if you look at this one, it's just a mere rebranding. Same people from even the historical perspective.
You have taken it out of my mouth. What changes in Nigeria is the party, the name of the parties, and not the people. The names of the parties keep changing. It is still the same set of people that are in this party. And I think what we need is that we really need people who are genuinely concerned about our party, about our country, about moving forward, about the masses. What we have found is that I think it's an inheritance from the military rule. If you look at the history of military rule in Nigeria, we have always been celebrating on the street of Nigeria, on the street of Lagos, on the major street of the country, when General Muhammadu Buhari, now president, struck in 1983
December.
against the civilian government. People trooped to the streets and jubilated that no Messiah is here. Now, after that, I think it was Babangida that toppled Buhari. What did we have? People rushed to the streets and celebrated. And after that, after Buhari was kicked out by Abacha, after the interim contraption, people still came out and celebrated. You see, successively, it's like this one is better than the last, this one is better than the last, and what have you. And which one did we have after Abacha?
Abdulsalam,
you know,
natural intervention. Okay, and then
and people even after the death of Abacha, people jubilated.
Yes,
you understand what I'm saying? So it has been on like that, like a sort of military inheritance. For me, I think what we need is the strengthening of our institution. I wrote when General Muhammadu Buhari, now our President Muhammadu Buhari, was coming in. I wrote on my Facebook wall that if we are expecting President Buhari to single-handedly shoulder the issue of the problems of this country and solve it, we are deceiving ourselves, because he cannot do it alone. He has to work with people. And the problem is that you find President Buhari is very sincere, but can we say that everybody around him are 100% sincere? What happens to we the populace? I think what we need to do is to build the democratic institutions. Take, for example, the judiciary. We had recently instances, maybe I think it was last year, when a judge had money in his house which no branch of any bank in Nigeria can boast of, in Abuja. And he had it in his house, he had it in his bedroom. It's under trial. We don't know for how long that will go. We don't know whether he's going to be convicted.
That's another problem people have identified. When you say the judiciary, but people will also say it is what you take to the judiciary that they will look at.
Of course, a judge will not view the matter that is not before him. If somebody has committed rape and battery, and you charge him for battery, even if the judge was the witness, the judge will not say he will not add to it. But what I'm saying is that what are the institutions that we need to strengthen our democracy? I've mentioned judiciary, the police. As at today, despite this mockery of advertisement on national television, the police collect money openly and with wanton disregard. And you need such institution. Are they strengthened? Are they sanctioned? Are they trained? Those are the issues we are talking about. And part of the problem is that, one, there is no deterrent. In fact, it is said that you only get punished in this country if you are not part of the system. That is a major problem. Then there are no almost absent total absence of role models. When we are growing up in our primary, in our secondary school, you will have school father, you have school mother. Am I correct?
Yes.
People that will go to, will advise you, they advise you on your subject combinations, on social issue, both formal and informal. Now what we have now is we have area fathers. You know, we and people who have been honest in the past, they have not been recognized, they have not been appreciated. In this Abeokuta, we have Justice Bakare, who is known for his honesty, for his modesty, for his transparency, and is living his pattern life. So when people like that are not appreciated, are not used as a symbol, you then go and have a judge that you have that will have money that is more than a bank in his house. We were lucky when we were growing up. We had Taisho Larin, we had Dele Awujobi. We listen to them. We go to Professor Sophie Oluwole at Unilag, even uninvited, to go and disturb her in her office and listen to her and draw inspirations. We had the likes of Festus Yaya and what have you. Who are the role models of our people? It's Obafemi Martins, what do you call it? Messi, Ronaldo, and what have you. And there is no way we will not have it coming back to affect us negatively. What has happened since JAMB was created? It was only last year that the registrar, Professor Oloyede, returned 5 billion naira to the purse of the government, and I learned that they have even returned about 7 billion or so afterward. How have we, apart from newspaper reporters, how have we recognized him? How have we created some level of symbolism around him as a model that our youth should look onto? So those are the problems, because the problem is not only about the people in government, even with the masses. And when you don't have justice, or justice is delayed, you have what we call jungle justice. If somebody is owing you money and you tell a friend now that man is owing me money because he didn't want to give me my money, I arrested him with police. You know what the friend will tell you? Friends, you pity him. You have got to get soldiers. How? Yes, how will a civilian be able to take out soldiers to go and deal with another civilian? You know, so the problem are legions, and I'm saying that it is my own considered view that it is not about coalition. We've always had coalitions, and don't forget that all these political parties in Nigeria, all the coalitions put together, they are not up to 20%, let me be conservative, of the voting public. You understand what I'm saying? So what are we doing? How are we able to share? You have a councillor who is selected at the local level, and after becoming, he was begging around, he becomes a councillor, nobody can talk to him again. You have a council chairman that you cannot see, and the person will say, no, I'm a chairman now, cannot be controlled, cannot be advised, cannot be criticized. How are we taking that? And gradually it has been entrenched in our psyche. In Lagos, for example, if your commercial vehicle is stopped by the police and you are delaying, the passengers will be shouting, you don't know, you know how much you have been giving them now, don't delay us, just give him what you have been giving and let us go. Nobody will want to confront the police and say, Mr. Man, why are you doing this and doing that? So we look at what this example I've given from the era of the military till when we are now. It is not about changing it. And let me tell you, because of this pattern, political parties in Nigeria have become platform for contesting elections.
Now, with the kind of structure we have today and that we are likely to have in 2019, nobody can get to the position, to the corridor where he can do all these changes you talk about without being a member of a political party.
Yeah, at least
Or
from the constitution.
and you cannot be in government if you are not a member of the political party, which means something should be done, must be done to change this political structure. So what are those things you think should be done, and how can we do them?
According to the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights, I think Article 21, which Nigeria has signed to. It says the will of the people shall be the basis of governance, and this will shall be demonstrated through periodic elections that are free and fair. We cannot, God forbid that we now use barrel of guns. It is that democratic process that we have to strengthen. We have to vote whether you are going to have a coalition. Even if you are talking of a new coalition today against 2019, it will still be that coalition against the present coalition. What we have in government now is a coalition. People may forget that it is an APC, but it is a coalition. So if another coalition is coming, it is going to be a coalition versus a coalition. But in what way are we strengthening the democratic process? For example, I commend the president. We had an election in Anambra. The governor raised an alarm and said he suddenly was withdrawn, and the president said immediately before that election, return it. Return is ADC or what now? And we had election that few days after that election, the governor of an opposition party that emerged rushed to the presidency to go and attack the president. We need things like this to continue, and we need to continuously take our people in office to task. It is not enough for you to delegate. Okay, you have an Oladunjoye that will be shouting while you conveniently face your business. It is only Oladunjoye that can shout. Let the coconut be cracked on his head. No, even when the government is doing positive things, you have to challenge them, as we have in Ogun State. All past administrations put together in this state, in all modesty, cannot match Senator Ibikunle Amosun in the area of infrastructure, in the area of road construction, pedestrian bridges, flyovers. But I, as a person, I'm still telling Mr. Governor, say, Mr. Governor, my town is Itele. Please come and fix Itele, Ilese, Ijebu-Ode, Okewa Road. And it's in Ilese now. And you say you are going to do Itele to Ilese. You understand? You have to challenge them. Mr. Governor, you say you are going to do some model school. Some have been done, some are yet to be completed due to finances. Please, we need this thing to be completed. And as you are fixing the model school, we also want repairs of other public schools. So in democracy, you have to permanently keep on expanding the democratic space.
Yeah, but the way things are, even from the examples you cited, our opposition governor has to rush to Abuja to thank Mr. President. Mr. President has to give an order before all this appears to be building an individual, building personality.
Yes.
Not the structure.
Not the structure. Ordinarily, when by the time we get there,
complain to Mr. Governor
before it is done. But we knew what happened in the past, and we knew what is happening here under Buhari. I want to say, I could be quoted, and I stand to be contradicted. It is not that there is no corruption presently in this administration. I've said it that corruption will be a practice of the specialists, but it has been reduced. Those who will embezzle money and come to terrorize us in town, go and check them in Abuja. They have gone either into exile or, you understand. On the street of Area 1, you will see car racing in the evening with loud noise, music from their vehicle. You can't find them now. Somebody will just take off from Ogun State and say, I have my friend is the PA to the chief of staff to one minister. I will go to, once I get to Abuja, I will call him. If he tries it now, he will sleep in the motor park. Because the minister is still struggling to get accommodation. It has been reduced. The area where you have permanent secretaries flaunting their accommodation in Asokoro, where are all those private jets? Though I know that gradually they are returning, but when this administration started, The parking space in Abuja was almost empty. So we start from somewhere and we will get there. If at the end of the day we score this administration, we'll be able to compare who are those coming out, what has he done. For example, now nobody can fault this government in terms of economic growth, exiting recession. But what we are saying is that fine, all the international indices are saying we are doing well, the forecasts are positive, but let us feel it on the street. Let us feel it in the pocket in the pockets of the masses. It will not immediately get there, but we will get there.
All right, let me quickly bring you to the issue I mentioned earlier. We now have different groups trying to champion a kind of intervention in the political space. You have those being championed by Donald Duke, Olusegun Obasanjo, and the rest. And you have another one, Coalition for Nigeria, being championed by former President Obasanjo. When you look at this,
No, Obasanjo just suggested.
Okay, suggested as it were.
I don't think there's a structure that is leading now.
What we have is that governors and senators are trying to form that structure. Now, the truth of the matter, Mr. Oladunjoye, is that it's almost taking 10 steps forward and then another 10 steps backward. It's like motion without movement. Is it not going to end up being a wild goose chase if at the end of the day it is still a coalition?
That is what I wanted to ask when you said some governors and senators are trying to form coalition. I wanted to ask, who are these governors? Who are these senators? And where are they coming from? Are they brand new? Remember when President Buhari took over as in this current dispensation, he said they should give him time to select ministers. That he needs some time to select. Nigerians are pressurized. Say, which ministers are you searching? Are they going to come from heaven? Are they going to come from outside? Are they not the same? Are they not the same set of people? Are they not Nigerians? Same thing applies, and that is why I said earlier on that if you look at it critically, active politicians now see political parties as platform to contest election. There was a governor, somebody was a governor in the, I think, Akwa Ibom, I don't want to mention name, who was in the opposition. Now he's in the ruling party. If he feels that he's not going to get his way or chance, or maybe wants to contest, he will go to another party to get the ticket. So whether you change name or you change the coalition and you are in government, what matters is, are we able to get independent electoral body that is fully funded? Are we able to get a judiciary, a judicial body or commission that is fully funded, that their revenue allocation is taken as first line charge? What are we?
Ambassador, good. Since you agree that it is still going to be the same set of Nigerians crisscrossing parties,
Call it perambulation
and platforms.
Yeah.
Then let me take you back to what Dele said earlier. Is it the problem of the parties or the players in those parties? Is it true that politicians are the problems of Nigeria?
It's not only politicians, it's Nigerians.
Okay.
It's the problem of the players and the spectators. What I'm saying is that if I have elected you, I have voted for you, I should be able to hold you to some promises, And when you look at it together, if you start challenging or raising issues and saying you are challenging authorities and what have you, we had the likes of Ganifa Ayemi, who will go to court and say, sorry, you cannot have structural adjustment program because it's going to add to the hardship of our people. How many of Ganifa Ayemi do we have now? We have people who rather want to be consultant to EFCC and so on. Then I keep insisting that Nigerians are not asking to eat at the table of their leaders. What they are asking for are the crumbs. But these crumbs will pack them together and still take to our dogs. Because if the masses can get good education, health facilities, good roads, they'll be able to take their produce to the market. For the first time in the history of this country, we have massive produce of rice, including metro rice from Ogun State. It will engage the people, it will feed the populace. And our leaders also need to sit down and look at the potentials of this country. I was telling somebody last week, I said from exporting fish alone to West Africa, Nigeria can make more money than petrol. We are talking of metro rice, we are talking of lake rice. Can you imagine if Nigeria is feeding Africa with rice? So those are the potentials that should be encouraged. The government is trying, it could do more. We also have to talk about education. Because of my interaction with youth and things like that, I want to say that our education is in shambles in terms of what the youths are learning, in terms of commitment of those who are engaged to teach them. In those days, in our own era, before you come, and I'm not that old though, before you come, even if you're a food vendor in the school, either primary school or secondary school, when you get to the school, before you dish out your food to students, there's a food teacher who will taste it, and there's a timetable on what you must bring to school. But now the teachers are not there. They go there to sell pant and bra, and so on and so forth. So we have to look at what are the key areas, and that is why I'm also comfortable with my party, because we are looking at that level, the APC. Health, education, infrastructure, because there is no economy in the world that can develop without infrastructure.
Now, still on this new coalition, Obasanjo did not actually specify it, but the interpretation and suggestions of some Nigerians includes one, that this coalition should be made up of people who have never tested government.
How would they get to the government?
Who have not been known. Yeah, that's why it said coalition. Let all of them bring their resources together. People who Nigerians are not known to be politicians but respected.
Okay, let me be very frank with you. There is nobody that can become the president of Nigeria if the person is not a member of the political or economic class. It's not possible. The only person who attempted it, who was a member of that class and wanted to carry out a revolution, is MK Abiola. He was dealt with. He was a member of the class, but he later felt that he did
not carry the class along with him.
No, he carried the class, but the class also suspected that he was going to cause a revolution, because he's talking about value of naira. He was talking about food, massive importation of food before it stabilizes and things like that. And if you remember very well, sir, when the results for 14 states were declared, they have not even declared the final result. In Lagos, Abiola has not even been sworn in. We started hearing Pomo Abiola, yes, Rice Abiola, Milk Abiola. People have ordered those things. That's why I said Nigerians were also part of the problem. People who have taken this thing away from the masses to inflate the price, believe that Abiola will import and the price will fall down. So they brought it out and you were hearing Pomo Abiola market, Milk Abiola and what have you. What I'm saying is that presidency of a nation and of this country is a class thing. If you read Wole Omotosho just before dawn, in 1984 somewhere, he said, go and check that the same people that have been in control of Nigeria, their wives, their children, their friends, their concubines, have been in control of Nigeria since 1960. That's Professor Wole Omotosho, and I agree to him to a very large extent. Now, to form a political party, you have to have offices in all the states of the federation and federal capital. And when you want to form a political party, don't let us be too overambitious, because some of us, we've learned a little from it. It involves money. you'll be talking, let me even say, let's talk about presidential election 2019. How much do you think we need for somebody to become a governor in a state? Minimum anywhere in Nigeria now. You cannot be talking of less than 1 billion. So let us take it that you want governorship in all the states, maybe 36 billion, maybe we'll be talking about 100 billion. Those who even have the money, who may even want to support, they will not come out because no question will be asked. And Mr. President could say, okay, let us even see your. Do you know how much has been saved from tax holiday initiated by this government? That we know you have not been paying tax. We are going to give. I was opposed to it that you shouldn't give them. You know they are not paying tax. Why will you give them 9 months when they will have perfected their books? But millions, hundreds of millions of naira have been saved.
All right, yes.
So I don't see a stranger, new breed,
So
going
to
to the
the new coalition
it may be 2020 when
27.
2023 2027, but not in 2020.
All right, we have to take this break. It's approaching 10 o'clock. We must take the 10 o'clock news. After that, we will continue. Citizens Forum, Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM. Ambassador Tunde Oladunjoye will still be here with us. All right, thank you for still being there. Daybreak Show on Rock City 101.9 FM. In the city of Abeokuta, the voice of the people. Citizens Forum this morning, we are looking at that suggestion from former president in his letter asking Nigerians to form a new coalition to get power and save Nigeria. We have with us Ambassador Tunde Oladunjoye, activist, politician, former chairman, local government, former candidate, deputy governorship candidate here in Ogun State. So much has been talked about this issue. Is of the opinion that even we as Nigerians have been very docile. We should stop that act for after election. We go back. We must continuously and persistently put those who have been elected under scrutiny and pressure so that they can give you more. It's also of the opinion that the so-called new coalition is actually nothing new in the country and is not something that could take us to Uhuru. We open the telephone lines. Let's get what you think. Questions for Tunde Oladunjoye if you disagree or agree with it. But quickly, let us remind ourselves of the simple rules. One, we will not take insult or abuse on any individual of you, please, either in writing or when you are making your call through. Don't come out with claims that cannot be substantiated. Outright falsehood, propaganda, or mischief will not be taken. 2 minutes is the maximum time allocated for each call. And please move away from the radio when you are putting that call through.
0809-868-7344 0909-146-9670.
You want to take some reactions, then we check the message.
Well, some of the callers are just made they made comments, and I agree with Fola Animation that Ola Animation that the more the merrier, you know. Well, when I talk about coalition, I've not said that coalition is not feasible, is not desirable. What I've said was that it cannot work for 2019. At my own little level, I've been part of coalition before. I was in the Campaign for Democracy. I was the National Policy Secretary of the Committee for Defense of Human Rights in this country. I was detained 7 times. I've been to prison 7 times fighting for human rights in this country. To even go and plan protests at Alimosho, at Yanopaja, to go and have a bonfire after the June 12th election. It has to be organized. It has to be planned. We are not talking. I had a meeting with somebody around 2014 in Abuja. He wanted to run for the governorship of Ogun State. And I said, are you joking? Because we are just talking about 2015. I said, do you know we have about 3,200 and something polling units in Ogun State? and for each unit you're supposed to have you have at least 2 agents times 3,000. I said, well, among that, that will give us about 6,000. I said, do you even have 2,000? How many people are talking to the market women about? It's not about daydreaming. And when my friend talked about revolution, I said, yes, revolution. But revolution is planned. We want to have a coalition. That is why people will contest for House of Rep and fail and go back to their businesses or run back to the countries they came from, or US or wherever they came from, and the next election comes and say want to run for governor and they will still fail. Planning is the first function of management, and it is very trite now that he who fails to plan plans to fail. You need offices, you need mobilizers, you need people to gather intelligence for you. Party politics is not a child's play, and if people are determined, I can say that's just my own from my experience that you cannot be talking of 2019 where you can use it to test as test case, but to believe that okay tomorrow we form a coalition and it's not to rule Nigeria is kí ló ń pè Ajanaku. It's not the head of the elephant. It's not a child's play for a baby a small child to carry. So I'm not against coalition. It has to be planned, but what I'm saying is that when we have that coalition, what would they do? It will be governance, abi? And in that governance, are we still going to fold our hands and allow things to happen, things to rot away and say the next election we are going to come out again? As I was coming to this studio this morning, I saw a man on bike, a cyclist, driving with one hand and using another hand to make calls. At a point he even left the two hands off and was dialing. When he got it, he was making a call using one hand on the bike, and a man in trace uniform on another bike just passed him and nothing happened. In other crime, they would have arrested him not only for conducting himself in that way but for attempted suicide, because he was trying to kill himself. But politically and in terms of governance, it's like the proverbial job of somebody expects somebody will do the job of everybody. Somebody expects that somebody will do the job, and the person who will do the job, nobody did it. So how do we manage what we have in the present? For me, I feel that people should pay 0 naira to become president, to collect presidential form. They should pay 0 naira, because if to become a governor of a state I have to pay 5 million naira for form, it has started as an investment, and that is not the way politics, even inter-party politics, you see influence of money. If you don't have, for example, if you want to run for governorship of as a governor of a state, if you don't have 1 billion, you cannot run. You understand? About 4 or 5 years ago, one old woman came to my house and showed me a card that when she was a member of UPN, they were contributing money every month and they were ticking as they contributed. You don't have that. There's no financial member again in most of our political parties. Everybody just want to go there and take money. There's no personal commitment, and it manifests in, you see somebody who has just been elected. This is my only opportunity. This is my only opportunity. Somebody wants to become council chairman. What has he managed before becoming council chairman? What is the reference point? What is the experience? And people like Tobi and my brother here will say, politics is very dirty. No. So when you leave the political space, the mediocres will take over. So we have to participate fully, and we have to hold our people accountable. That is very important. Economic downturn in Nigeria. Nigeria, in terms of global rating by the World Bank, by what do you call it now, African Development Bank, Nigeria is doing well economically. We have exited recession. But what we are saying is that the government should do more so that as soon as possible, sooner than later, this in these great signals and commendation will also be felt in the pockets of Nigeria. Yes, Mr. Afolakemi also talked about revolution. Revolution has to be planned. I've had discussion in the about 10 years ago with some comrades. I said, if you want to plan a revolution, it cannot a successful revolution in this kind of country, you cannot take less than 10 years. When we're in the campaign for democracy and we're struggling, uh, what took the sale out of us? We started telling people stay at home. It got to a point people could no longer stay at home. They refuse to stay at home because the person who stays in Akowonjo or the person who stays in Abeokuta and wants to go and collect 2,000 in Ijebu-Ode, he will have forgotten that almost all the money will have gone on transportation. He will still want to go and collect the money. So stay at home did not work. It's as if we have been deliberately constrained to think about lunch and not about the dinner. So we must come together, we must organize. But I'm saying that for the present arrangement we have, I say it without any fear of contradiction that we have made progress. The administration of President Buhari is better than the immediate past administration. And if I want to put it clearly, I want to say that the Jonathan administration is like a military administration. The Buhari administration is a civilian administration, and the worst of civilian administration is better than a military government.
Okay, can we check the messages, please?
Yes, let's quickly go through the short code messages first, and then we go to the tweets. This one from Oburu from Eliriano says, why is ex-president Obasanjo interested in the coalition when he voluntarily quit politics? PMB should be allowed to continue. Politicians are the same. All right, this one says, I agreed with OBJ's submissions to PMB, though the way it was conveyed was wrong. It was inciting. After all, he has every access to counsel PMB privately. If not yielded, then he can now do that. Also, advising PMB not to contest in 2019 is uncalled for. If PMB and APC wish to remain in government, they can correct the anomalies highlighted. Also, formation of a special Nigerian coalition group is irrelevant for the same set of APC, PDP, and other political members will still form the group. Are they sent in that one? Governorship election should be first. Presidential election, okay, that's a day sending that message. Point of correction, Ogun State government does not produce rice, they only rebag rice. That is
That's funny.
Joseph.
That's total misrepresentation.
All right, let's go to the tweets. This particular one from Dolani Robert says, the three wise men that enjoy leadership at young age but put up all measures to ensure that young people of today won't enjoy leadership. The letter will have been more meaningful if it does not draw conclusion like PMB should not contest. But since OBJ has not abandoned his third-term agenda, the letter must conclude. Buhari announced his retirement from politics after losing the 2011 election. This group of cabals called him out of retirement to destroy GG administration. Today, they are all crying. They are all chameleons. Who reacts? Would the letter help? Nigerians will decide the next president come 2019. OBJ's letter isn't a surprise thing to me because I have photocopies of the ones he wrote to Abacha and Jonathan. However, we should not play politics with the content as salient points were embedded. It's left for Buhari to make amends. Sakara Man Olayode says, we don't need OBJ's advice to make Nigeria better. He was there before and did nothing. Nigeria can change, but we need our leaders to also change positively. God bless Nigeria. Sakaraman also tweeted this, political coalition can solve our problems. Cabals and saboteurs are the problems of Nigeria. Elite people are behind all our problems, and God will save us. Lani Roberts once again, when will Nigerians understand that their leaders and elites, no matter their political and other differences, are closer to each other than the masses? These men have been together since the early 1960s. We need a new breed of young, conscientious, unalienated Pan-Africanist leaders in Africa. who really care about their people and not just power, and will work together like during the fight for independence to get us out of the shadow of unscrupulous Western powers. They speak the same language, they are strong animals, and are more united than we the weak animals in the jungle. Recall when they converged at a wedding that was held in Mina sometime last year. We are just poor students of history. Adedayo Adeyemi says Obasanjo's letter is a wake-up call to action and I expect Buhari to yield to the advice from heaven. Baba Obasanjo is on point. Baba Obasanjo's letter is not to condemn, not to intimidate, but to make APC know that the masses are not happy with their policies. Yemi Phillips Da Vinci says what Prophet Fela Ransom Kuti said in his seminal army arrangements song about old politicians that spoiled Nigeria before. In fact, the truth of the matter is that it is already too late for a true third force devoid of major political players in APC and PDP to have any effect on the 2019 elections. I agree with Ambassador Oladunjoye that we need more of letters like the one Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo wrote. Other past leaders should emulate him really. Engagement with government is as important as elections. Nigeria's political system has been monetized. The third force we are talking about will be drawn from all these wicked political gladiators. Until we do self-restructuring in this country, no meaningful development will happen in Nigeria. Not people of stealing, it's not corruption. So can you explain what you mean that Jonathan's government is like a military government and Buhari's government is like a civilian government? Alright, that is all we have for now. I'm also glad to do to you.
Yes, let me just say that I've spoken about our reaction to military government, and we knew, because we at times forget easily. We knew where we were. We knew that with the Jonathan administration, the recession started with that administration, and we knew that as at now we have exited the administration. The World Bank has rated Nigeria high. The Nigeria has moved up in the what do you call it, index of doing business, and the African Development Bank also projected positive growth for this country. This is not what we had in the past, and I know that a sizable chunk of people on the social media are still pained about the electoral laws of 2015, and I smile, and I have a feeling that these people are even going to help Buhari to come back to power if he chooses to recontest, because instead of planning, instead of strategizing, what we have seen from this section or sector in the social media is just lamenting. And I put it clearly that the Jonathan administration is like military rule. The civilian administration of President Buhari is like civilian rule, and it is said, generally accepted world over, that the worst of civilian administration is better than the best military rule. I don't think I can break it further beyond that.
Okay, telephone.
Okay, somebody said about we have to restructure politicians. I don't know. I thought it was going to talk about restructuring
The structure.
the country or the structure. To restructure the politician, I don't know. But I agree that our democracy is very expensive, and that is why you see a struggle to get there at all costs. What our people are collecting in the National Assembly, even for at the state level it differs, because they say we have to look at their resources, but at the national level it is based on resource allocation. We could do better. It is some of the allocations, allowances could do other meaningful developments in the nation, and I continue to emphasize that we have to look at the key areas. For example, the United Nations presently, and this is the third year of the Sustainable Development Goals. We are urging all stakeholders to come in and participate in the area of health, in the area of women empowerment, education, partnership, private sector operation, and what have you. Of course, we have been recycling, and we continue to recycle until other people come into the space. People are shying, they are shying away from politics. If you are not ready, if you are a professor, you are not ready to play politics, you will be lucky if you don't have if you don't have a secondary school dropout as your counselor or chairman who will see how to determine your movement and even the rates that your wife will pay and things like that. We need to participate in politics. It's not compulsory or only that our participation we have to be seeking elective office. We can contribute views, we can contribute strategies. Like somebody said earlier on, the more the merrier. Somebody said you don't like Obasanjo's letter. I'm not the writer. It is your view. And passive education, Mr. Adedeyinbo, I quite agree with you. Mr. Samuel, I thank you for your compliments. And I want to say that this issue of recycling, let me give you a very funny example. This is about 2 or 3 weeks ago, quickly. A senator wanted to decamp on the floor of the National Assembly from PDP to APC. His colleagues blocked him physically and said, "You cannot go." The man went back to his seat, and later on he said, "The feelings shown to me by my colleagues, I wish to remain where I am. I'm no longer decamping." That is the kind of comedy that our representation has been turned to by people who don't have passion for the masses.
All right, let's quickly add the streets. Yemi Philip Da Vinci says, the truth of the matter is that the new coalition will be a mixture of disgruntled elements of the two major parties and some new sharks who want to position themselves A to Z, same noni, like a revered parliamentarian Chivananuga used to say. Okay, Yemi Phillips once again. The only way, in my own opinion, the new coalition will be different from previous coalition is if it makes restructuring of Nigeria the cardinal focus of its manifesto. Away from the coalition proposition in Baba's letter, I join him to urge President Buhari not to run in 2019. He cannot give us the fast rate of change we need, and we did not exited recession. Okay, and we not only exited recession on the macroeconomics level. People don't eat GDP. Alright, Verona Ajishafen says OBG's letter is mere brouhaha. Nigeria to me is ruled by a military industrial complex. Okay, Suraka Tabiano says we have exited recession, but this has not been felt by ordinary Nigerians. Recently, we heard that Abacha's loot of $500 million had developed wings. Millions of Nigerians losing their jobs every day. So what are we defending in this government? Suraka Tabiano says federal government has expended 1 billion around the burial of late Ekweme. Is this not wastefulness of the highest order? In a nation that is battling to fund the budget, last year, budget for social investment program of 500 billion naira, we gathered that only 55 billion naira was released. All right, so those are the tweets that we have. Let's quickly take this Facebook comment. Okay. I think we discussed this earlier. If fellow Jew Abraham says, note, there is no difference between PDP and APC. Both are just different names calling the thief. None of them can swear oath that they haven't embezzled Nigeria's money before. Now they are campaigning after the election. Either third or fourth force, they have all contributed their own quota to the mess we are in today. Adedayo AAA says, I don't agree. Our guest called Jonathan's administration military and tagging Buhari government as civilian administration. I'm totally not in support of that. Dasuki and others are an example of Buhari's maladministration. Your
All right,
reaction?
Ambassador, we must, let's take your reaction to this.
Well, I appreciate the participant people who have made comments, and that is what I say that it's good for democracy. We express our views in ways that are not contrary to the rule of the law, But I want to say that in a democracy, let us continue to ask for our rights. Let us continue to strengthen democratic space. Let us continue to ask questions. When our leaders are doing well, let us encourage them and let us show them how they can do better.
It appears that the general feelings of Nigeria is that they have lost confidence and trust in the politicians who have ruled them now. How can
It
this?
is not general feeling of Nigerians because we have not taken a sense of survey. So we cannot assume, because I want to
Then
tell.
it appears.
Yes, I want to say that, because even if you look at the social media, the people, the collectivity of people on the social media in this country is not even up to 30% of the population, but they are opinion influencers and what have you. But I'm saying that you are condemning politicians. I once asked, I said, between a politician and a civil servant, who is most corrupt? Nobody has been able to tell me till date.
All right, we will leave it at that for this morning. We thank you very much, Ambassador Tunde Oladunjoye, for coming to do justice to the topic, and of course to everybody there who have listened, who have participated. I also say thank you. Tomorrow we'll be back fresh on the Daybreak Show. Dele Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria, and God bless Rock City.
I remain Toby Joseph. Have a wonderful Monday.